You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Michael Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. Glad you're here. It's a joy to sit down with you every single day and talk about all kinds of different aspects of life and in business. Today our conversation is going to be about the trends in business for 2020. I think that's an important subject that we need to address. I'll be right back.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
I really think that in business you're always having to change and look at new issues that will affect your business. And in 2020, we're beginning to see, and we started to see it a little bit last year, especially from me, because I've been pushing this a lot. But it's about this touchy-feeling control over what we do as business people, which we need to focus more on, getting out from behind the computer and literally touching what we're doing. So one of the issues is that companies are going to focus on, I should say this, companies that focus on analog and in-person services will thrive. And this means whether highlighting physical products or getting back to like in-person engagements, or a trend I've been starting to see are companies coming out from behind the computer, as I said before. I'm thinking of products that you can actually hold in your hand, replacing the digital forms we've been using. For example, there's a company out there called Silk & Sonder. It's a subscription service that sends out monthly planners with real paper pages. Now, I've been telling this for over a year now. Get yourself a journal. There are really good journals out there that you can document and plan everything for the full year. I have two of them. One I use for my personal business use and when I do my goal setting in and my objectives that I need to do every single day. The other one is where I keep all my conversations with clients. If I'm doing a mediation, I keep the mediation notes in that book so I can refer back to it. And so that I can put it on paper and make an agreement so that in mediation agreement terms, we can all agree on one single outcome or accomplishment. So I keep two because I want to be able to control what I'm doing. So if I set an objective like for today, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. As I get them done, I mark them off. That means I have completed that task. I had it on computer, but I never referred to it because I was already so busy on the computer with the tax work and accounting work and mediation work that I really needed something that I saw on a piece of paper that I put there and then I accomplished it. So we're going to see more and more things like that. The same thing goes for a company called Little Feminist, which gets kids reading with physical books. Instead of reading everything on the computer, they want to go back to physical books. Listen, my goal this year is to read a book a month. So I'm going to read 12 books this month. I've already chosen those books out. And they are physical books that I can literally have my hands on and mark up and put a yellow marker through. And then I'm also seeing a rise in physical networking like BumbleBiz, First Mover Summits, and all kinds of networking programs that are out there. I get probably 3 or 4 networking groups that contact me every single month here in Florida. And then the other issue is these companies that are value-driven companies, they are going to continue to grow. We're going to see this trend surge from Yobi, a school supply business that donates an item to a child in need for every product customers buy, to Houston's Black Sheep Agency, which specializes in getting the word out about nonprofits and civic entities. This is nothing new, but as consumers become more aware of the power companies have to do good, the more businesses will take advantage, and they're going to help even their local communities by being a value-driven company. And then what we're going to see in 2020, we're going to see a lot more veterans get involved in their own businesses. As the troops begin to pull out of all of these war-torn countries that we've been in for years and years, you're going to see them coming back to the United States and starting to form their own businesses. And they're going to be very good at it because they have the discipline to do it. They have the ability to excel because they've been excelling as a soldier and become a better soldier for so long. So we're going to see more veteran-owned businesses. Now, this one is very dear to me because I talk about politics all the time on my podcast because it affects my business. You are going to see more business people focused on this election. You're going to see entrepreneurs to be incredibly involved in the election. According to the National Small Business Association, 93% of business owners vote compared to the 58% of the general population who voted in the last presidential election. That means that whenever they fall on the spectrum, wherever they fall on the spectrum, business owners are going to be fighting for their rights and getting political. And I'm going to speak from this from experience. A few years back, when Obama was president, I sat on two Chamber of Commerce. One was in Orlando, Florida, where I was opening up an office, and the other one was in Los Angeles, where I had my main office. The discussion between the members under the Obama era was why we were not creating more jobs, why we were not buying more capital equipment for our companies. And it was because business was on hold. We didn't know what was going to affect us under the Obama administration, because he had executive order after executive order that placed more burden on small business, like on wages, overtime, mandates on healthcare, etc. The list went on. All of those things that the president did at that time cost small business a lot of money. There was if you had so many employees, you had to provide this and that. So people stopped hiring because they didn't want to go over that number where they had to be in compliance with a presidential mandate. So everything was on hold. So as we begin looking at the presidential running, as we're looking at the presidential candidates right now, we in small business are looking at what they are saying. And if it's not adding up, we're walking away from them. But if we see an agenda where it's pro-business, less taxation, less red tape, less compliance issues, that's the individual that we're going to go with, because that's the individual where we can grow our companies and we can hire more people. But if it's a candidate that is constantly talking about how bad business is, how bad world of business. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button there. That was bad. I was waving my hands because when I'm talking, I always wave my hands. And my hand touched my touch screen and started to play a jingle. But let's get back to what we were talking about. I apologize for that technical difficulty, which was in my hand. But businesses are going to continue to look at the election because they don't want to be stalled again. They don't want to be put on hold again by over-regulation, over-taxation. It doesn't work. And they also want to be able to say, okay, if I succeed, if I can grow my business where I can get to a financially secure in my wealth status, I don't want to be attacked for doing my hard work. And if a candidate is going to attack you because they see success and they want more tax dollars from you, we're going to run away from them. That is not how America grows. Right now we have a pro-business president who is trying to help small businesses. And that is a good thing. The other issue that companies are going to look at is security. That's going to be on our minds as small business people all the time. Business owners, even small ones, are going to be focused on security in 2020. And the question is why? Well, remember Capital One's data breach back in July? It affected roughly 100 million customers. That's 30% of the U.S. population. So we as small business, we simply can't afford to have that happen to our personal businesses. Microsoft has a new suite that is betting on this new trend that they're going to see in 2020. Security Essentials, and I can't recommend it more strongly. After all, being protected is one of the best ways to ensure a happy, healthy new year for our business. I, in my business, have to be very secure conscious. I'm thinking about it almost every single day. If you are a tax practitioner, and you should ask your tax practitioner, do they have a data security program in place to protect your tax data? Think about this. Your tax return on their computer has every bit of information about you. Has everything about you. And if your tax practitioner is not protecting you, then they are in violation of the Federal Trade Commission. Tax practitioners, CPAs, accountants, they are required under the Federal Trade Commission to operate under the same rules such as banks under data protection. They are supposed to have programs in place to protect that data. And if they're not doing it, then they're in violation of it. You should ask this tax season, when you go to prepare your taxes, ask that tax practitioner, does your firm have a program, not a software program, but a policy and procedures in place to protect my data? And ask to see it. If they don't have one, walk away. Because you want to know whether or not if your tax data is being protected. That goes for H&R Block. It goes for all these companies out there, CPA firms that prepare your tax return. Ask that question. So every business is going to be looking at the security of their client data and of their trade secrets and everything else. What is protecting their data sources? And you should start looking at it immediately, because these criminals out there are getting smarter and smarter, and we have to outfox them. We have to stay one step ahead of them. I know it's hard to do, but it's a program that should be in place in every single company to look at their data security, the security of their information. So that are some of the trends that we're going to be looking at in 2020, and I think every single one of them is vital. every single day in our business, we are faced with issues. And if we have the programs and plans in place, we can deal with those issues far better, much better, to protect our clients and to protect our businesses. I hope that helps. It's a good discussion to have. If you have any questions or comments, send me a text at 818-252-5682. Again, that's 818-252-5682, and I'll be more than happy to answer any question or comment that you may have. Everybody go out today, plan it out. Make sure that you set your goals and expectations. And let's build something today. Let's get something done. This is Mike Lodge for the WBT. Talk with you soon.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.